From the Fathead Studio in Speedway, Indiana, this is The Skinny.
Maybe I need to start in the trash truck business.
Don't rule it out.
So my body holds about 11 units of blood, the average human body, guy my size, and I had 22 units put in because I had 2 full oil changes.
He's airborne, and then I'm above him.
Inverted.
All at the same time. Yeah, you're just like, wow, that's a wild picture.
Boom, and then it goes boom, and it goes back out.
I hang up on the guy. I go, who's this? This is Deion Sanders. I go, yeah, nice try. See you later.
Bounce and then this insane roll. That thing sent it.
No. It's okay, we come back. They just do it.
Man, am I still pretty? And he's like, you ain't pretty, but you're going to be all right.
If I was a few years older, you might be calling me Grandpappy. I think, all right.
Hi, I'm Tony Stewart.
I'm Scott Dixon.
I'm Mario Andretti.
I'm Christy Lee.
I'm Travis Pastrana.
Hey, I'm Antron Brown.
Hi, I'm Julie Nataas, and this is The Skinny.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Skinny. A brand new studio is finally up and running. I'm Ken Stout, Rico Elmore sitting right alongside, and I'd love to take credit for this place, but I had absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. But this guy and a little bit of help along the way, these guys have thrashed really hard to make this place come to life. It is not perfect yet, but good enough to put a show together for you here as we continue on, and appreciate all the work, man, all the help. It looks fabulous.
We got a few people we got to thank, and of course, Eric that's with us. We got to thank him. We got to thank Mohawk Carpet for giving us this beautiful carpet in here to show that off, and yeah, man. So it's really been cool, and Steve Grine and his whole group, and trying to put it together. Greg Hunter and Michael and you coming in and straw bossing us around. So I mean, it's really been nice.
We should really touch base too, just to fill them in a little bit more. I'm guessing you probably have some pictures of this place when we first came in, but I mean, we're talking about bare walls, bare floor, no ceiling. There was nothing here. And what you've been able to accomplish is a lot of racks. We have proper studio lighting here. We have camera apparatuses hanging down, cameras everywhere. Yep. So it's been a big task.
Yeah, it was. I thank God that I was trained by the best, who was my dad. As a general contractor, and I just kind of started trying to figure out what we were going to do, and happy with it. With a few more tweaks, I think we'll be in great shape. And with saying my dad, we got to say hi to my mom, and yes, we do get along.
Very rarely, but we do get along.
Very rarely, but
his mom watches all the shows, and she'll literally call him and say, do you guys actually get along?
You guys really get along?
We do. We get along just fine, and have for many, many, many years. So it's the place is beautiful. If you don't know Rico very well, you should know that he has a serious case of OCD. So everything in here is about as perfect as it can get, right down to the little bobbleheads. The guitars are laying out on the desk here, as they'll find a home pretty soon. So, but again, I want to say thanks, man, for putting this all together. Our 3rd season on MAVTV, coming at you with The Skinny. We're very proud to be here as well. We appreciate everything that they've done for us and giving us a home to go forward as well. So, man, we're off to a good start here in 2024.
Absolutely.
So with that said, we also have a very special guest in here who is part of the team now as well, helping us out with social media. She is the 2023 NHRA Top Alcohol Dragster Champion, also won a regional championship, also won the JEGS All-Star Shootout for the 3rd consecutive year. A pretty amazing weekend towards the end of the season, but we want to cover the entire season. Please welcome back to the set and to the show, Miss Julie Nataas. Awesome stuff. Now, what a year you had.
Oh, crazy. It's still wild. Still like kind of unbelievable in my mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, really, really wild. Just going back and taking a look at some of the action. Of course, we want to talk about your season all through 2023, and a vicious battle with some dude that's usually turning left.
Took advantage of the rookie. Really whipped up on the rookie guy in the series.
Well, I really had to beat him. He can't just come out there and, win a championship before me. So
he was trying.
He
was right
sure
there.
Was.
Were you surprised that he was as good as they were? And we should say the name, I guess. We're talking about Tony Stewart, who went drag racing in 2023 full time, chasing the Alcohol Dragster Championship. And by the way, you're in a nitro injected car. I believe he's in a nitro injected car as well. So they are legal in that category. But were you surprised to see the success that he had and that team?
No, not really. Like the team that he has been driving for, they have really great cars, great people, and him as a driver is really great. So that was not surprising to me at all. No.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Definitely nerve-wracking because we went back and forth in points like so many times, but that's part of the excitement of
I
going for a
remember when you
championship.
were on, I believe you were on with us in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been 2021, actually.
Might have
when this
been
was
21.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
podcast, yeah.
Because it was after the U.S. Nationals.
But I remember
Right.
you saying, you know, the pressure for you was on to win a championship, being with Randy Meyer Racing, because they've won so many championships, and the previous drivers have won championships as well, and you needed to get that accomplishment under your belt, and you felt that pressure to go forward with that team. How's it feel now that you finally did it?
Wild. I mean, so good. To finally have that feeling of what you worked for so many years, for so long, like finally happening, it's such a weird feeling. I'm still like kind of taking it in, I guess. Like being the region champion going into this season is also like, wait, I have the number 1 of my wing? Like I was the champion? Like what?
You need to hold your hand up just a little bit there.
When
There
you
you
so
go.
when you're walking down the street, do you walk in left-hand circles now? You just keep leaning to the left.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I
there you
walk
go.
with my hand first.
We'll try to
Just-
get you an up close and personal shot, but that, of course, is the massive championship ring that she's wearing, and
Yeah.
it's in black, which is
It
I've not
is.
seen a black one before. That's pretty cool.
I haven't either, so that's cool.
Yeah, great stuff for sure. So when you kick off 2024, now the expectations are to repeat. It doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's definitely my goal to go win my second championship. And I know, like, with all the pressure of winning a championship, it can be a lot, but I say that I thrive under pressure. I think I showed that last year. So I'm excited for it. I think I can do it.
We're off and running here in a brand new studio. Welcome to the Skinny. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
It's absolutely the worst feeling to be in the water. It's when you get out of it. Like, that's when you're like, oh, that's amazing.
The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Right in the middle of all of us, that is that beautiful 2023 championship trophy, courtesy of the NHRA Top Alcohol Dragster category. And, of course, the lovely lady sitting right beside it is Julie Nataas, who was able to win that trophy. That is a gorgeous piece of hardware.
It is, and it's so heavy. At the banquet, I was carrying it on my hip the whole night, and the day after, I was going to fly home with it, still carrying it on my hip. I was bruised. My whole hips just blew, like wrecked. But
Like a
not
child.
complaining. Yeah, literally.
Great stuff. I want to go to Norway with you for a second.
Yes.
Because you post all these beautiful pictures, and every now and again you get a chance to go. And I saw one where it looked like you took the ice plunge, and I believe you posted that it was 5 below zero.
Yep, I usually do that every time I go home to Norway for the winter. It's like ice plunge over there is just getting bigger and bigger. So either you go in the ocean or in a little lake where they have it all like prepared for you, ready to go. You don't even have to crack the ice.
Does it take your breath away?
Oh, absolutely. Like I say that I love it, but it's absolutely the worst feeling to be in the water. It's when
Oh.
you get out of it. Like that's when you're like, oh, that's amazing.
It's so cool, though. It looks like the quintessential small town, like going back into the 40s or 50s, you know, at Christmas time, and, you know, the stuff on the buildings. It looks super cool.
It is. And you probably wouldn't think it was, but my hometown is like a summer town. Like everyone goes there for the summer. That's where they go on like little vacations. And so it's a pretty cool, neat little town right by the ocean.
Oh, by the ocean. So you're by the ocean as well.
Yeah.
So was that a big part of your life when you were growing up, the water sports and stuff? Did you guys do it? I know you were
Not
racing
really.
pretty early on, but I didn't know if you ever went boating and then partook in any of those types of things.
We did have a boat for a couple years, but we ended up never using it because we were always at a racetrack, like during the week, during the weekends.
Another
And then-
money pit, racing, not the boat. Yeah.
You know, when we had a day off, we were like, well, it's raining. So, okay, well, let's go to the go-kart track then, because that's the only thing you would do in the rain, right? So, yeah, we got rid of that one.
So do you miss home?
Not really. I mean, I've been here for 9, almost 10 years now, and this is home to me. Like, of course, I miss my family, but I am lucky enough to have them come over here a whole lot for my races or even for like regular off-season stuff like vacation. And I get to go home about twice a year, so that's good. But
When I
wish
see
myself
those
moving.
pictures, I mean, it just looks like a different way of life. Does it feel that way when you're over there, or is it really just a different scene, if you will, but everything's about the same?
Everything's about the same, yeah. It's probably a little bit of a different style of living, but nothing crazy of a difference.
I know that you said that your dad wasn't coming to, where did he
Pomona.
not? Pomona.
Yes.
Did that help?
It did not. The curse is still with the family.
We'll get into that next.
Yeah.
Once again, we'll take a quick break here. We have Julie Nataas on the show with us here this week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And I saw the difference in me performing as a driver when we realized that, hey, we can win the championship, but we got to win every single round.
Welcome back to Indianapolis, Indiana, the motorsports, no, it's a racing capital of the world.
Yes.
We love it here.
Right down the road from.
Right down the road from. No longer in Speedway. However, we're just a couple blocks away here in the new studio for 2024. You're watching The Skinny. I'm Ken Stout. That's Rico Elmore. We have Julie Nataas, who is on the show with us. She's also helping out our broadcast throughout the season as well on social media. We appreciate all of that help. Nothing like having somebody young and trendy playing the game on social media for us. We'll be right on top of that this year as well. Of course, as we documented already, she's won the championship in 2023 for the NHRA and Top Alcohol Dragster. She also won the regional or divisional championship as well. How many of those do you have now?
3?
3?
Yeah, I think it's 3.
7 wins last year, 4 divisional and 3 national events.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So great to have such an accomplished driver on here. Let's talk about the season a little bit, how things got going. You were battling, as we talked about, with Tony Stewart for that championship, his first year in the series, chasing that full time. But it wasn't just him. That class is loaded with talent.
Oh, yeah. There's so many good drivers and good teams in that class right now that you got to be on top of your game every weekend. You can't just have a couple mishaps here and there.
So at the start of the season, I'm sure you have meetings with everybody, and obviously the goal is to win. But how do you approach the consistency? What is the approach for you and the team? What are those meetings like?
Well, we of course always have, well, maybe not of course, but we do as a team. It's an of course that we have a team meeting before a weekend and we set our intentions and go over a couple things that maybe we didn't do great the weekend before or things we have to improve on. And we do that every week. And I am so lucky that I have crew guys around me that I work well with, and a boss that also wants the best for me and my team. So I think that helps out a lot for being a championship winning team in general.
So speaking of the boss, he seems like a very stoic individual. How is it to drive for Randy Meyer?
I say it's interesting. A lot of people are scared of him, and I'm like, why are we scared?
He's a nice guy. I talked to him. He's a great guy, but he is so blinders on.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. I mean, it's wild to watch. And I mean, you can understand his success and where that's come from, and and a lot of them out there. I mean, Pops is the same way. Hey, how you doing? Like you didn't even speak. So it's
right, because they're all so set into what they're about to do. They're at work.
Yep. So, but I always wondered that, before I really got to, speak to him or talk to him a little bit here and there, and I thought, man, that guy is hardcore. So
4 championships in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
That's hardcore.
It is.
That's why he's got the blinders on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
Yeah, that's really, really quite an accomplishment, as we talked about in that category where, I mean, there's some really tough players. I mean, who's who,
Right.
getting that done. What is your biggest challenge when you came out of 2022 going into 2023? What were your goals, your personal goals as a driver to get better at?
Reaction times. I feel like 22, my reaction times were pretty decent. I think my average was probably a 35 light, which is pretty good in an A-fuel dragster. But we didn't have the car with us. So we were like, we have to improve the car and we have the driver and then we're fine. Well, it turns out we show up in Gainesville, like our first race, and the driver is not with the car. I was no longer doing the best that I could do like I did the previous year, and the car was responding. So we win those 2 first races because we had the great car, not because we had a great driver. So I was struggling with myself as a driver not being the best that I could be because I knew that I could do better. And I did that for a while, probably a couple months last year, where I was like, why are my reaction times like so bad? So I actually went to Frank Hawley school to see if that would help me out. I also think that I was probably overthinking it and trying to make myself do better, and I was just thinking too much about it. But I eventually, got into routine and was able to win some races on hole shots, so.
Interesting perspective for sure, because it's so easy to get in your head and get yourself out of the game. It's so easy to not be in your head and get yourself out of the game. I mean, we're talking about splitting seconds here.
Yeah.
So where did you settle in? How do you fix that problem? Because I mean, that's the issue when you get to those pro level cars where you're at, and those reaction times are absolutely the difference in whether you win or lose that day. And so the pressure is on. How do you fix that if it's an issue?
Well, the more I tried to fix it, the worse I got. And I saw the difference in me performing as a driver when we realized that, hey, we can win the championship, but we got to win every single round. It was like all the pressure that I had, it worked. Which is weird because normally with pressure as a driver, you might do worse. You might do some stupid there. Turns out it made me a better driver, and I found myself again as a driver. Myself as a driver again. Yeah.
So is it fair to say you started focusing on winning rather than reaction time?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like, I just got to go by this round.
Right.
It's kind of interesting, the way Julie put that is because Leah went through a lot of that at the beginning of the year, or she struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year, and I think she was tremendously beating herself up, and then the next thing you know, she's won, she's one win away from the championship. So I think that's pretty awesome. I wondered a lot about that because I knew you were fighting it in the beginning as well. So
Well, and he brings her up, and I'm glad you did actually, because that's exactly who I was thinking of when I was talking to you about it. Whenever you mentioned it, I went in when I started seeing her having some success, Leah. I went in and started looking at her reaction times because notoriously she would have one bad round, and she started stringing together 4 rounds. I mean, something changed significantly, and she became very consistent and very, very good, very quick at the starting line. So, and I know that's not an easy thing to change. It's something she's been working on for her career, for years, and it's just not an easy thing to change. So that's why I was asking you what was the success for you, because probably for everybody it's probably a little bit different. There's no magical way to just get better at that. It's just whatever works for you.
It really is. Yeah. It was hard.
Tough game for sure. If you want to jump in the water with these players here, you better be on your mark, because they will gladly put you in the box. We'll have more from Julie Nataas when we come back.
And I'm like sitting there with brakes still on. I'm like, what the heck? What is going on?
Welcome back to the Fatheads Eyewear Studio. It's brand new for 2024. You're watching The Skinny. I'm Ken Stout, Rico Elmore, and the 2023 NHRA Top Alcohol Dragster Champ, Julie Nataas, has joined us here on the set. We've been talking to her about her 2023 season, winning that championship. I want to jump into the middle of the season, the biggest drag race of the year. We go back to the U.S. Nationals. You beat Tony Stewart along the way. You make your way back to a final round, back-to-back years, looking for back-to-back wins at the U.S. Nationals. Take me from there.
Oh, I red light. My head was saying something completely different than my leg. I think I had like a 200 something red light. So my foot just went for it. And I'm like sitting there with brakes still on. I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? And then I was like, yeah, my foot just wanted to go for it. And that happens sometimes as drivers. Like, it's not like you're trying to hit a really good light when you have like a 200 red light. So that sucked. That's the only time I've come out of the car crying because I've lost a race. The U.S. Nationals gets all the emotions out of me. Like, I won there in 21, and I was crying, bawling my eyes out. And last year, I came out crying because I lost a race. So it really brings everything out in you that weekend.
And then
was that the year that you won the JEGs, and the U.S. Nationals? Yeah, that was. Yep. That was an amazing year, and the raw emotions of you coming out of the car was because we were down at the end when you got out. So
that was also wild, like with the night before when we blew up the car. So that was definitely more emotional on top of it.
Right.
Julie, I have a quick question for you. Do you know? I mean, it's a split second. Do you know when you have a good light and or a bad light? Is that something that instantly as you get off the line, you're like, oh, that was a good light? Or is it so quick that you don't really are able to comprehend it?
It depends. I can definitely tell if I'm really late. If I'm more than 80, 90, then I'm like, oh, that was bad. And if I'm quick off the line, I can usually always see like the yellow. I don't know. No. I can tell when I'm red. It will tell me.
It's kind of like you at the stoplight, Michael.
Right.
I mean, when you're
just plug right through it.
I mean, you turn the top bulb off, and you're getting ready to go right through the crosswalk. And
I noticed the yellow light. I noticed that when I go underneath, and sometimes I notice the red as well. So
like Denny Hamlin on the restart at Richmond. Should I not say that?
Get that all fired up again.
Might as well fire them all up while we're at it. So, but I got to take you back to this race. So you go red. After you goes red, she hits the tires.
Oh yeah, made it even worse. Like, you're like, oh, I was probably gonna go down the racetrack, and I did, but I let go of the gas pedal half track just so we could at least get some data from it, from that run. But yeah, that was that. But you want to know an interesting fact about that race that weekend? That's the one and only time me and Tony has raced each other, even though we went up for the championship.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And you beat him.
Yes, I
did. I guess I didn't even realize that.
That's pretty crazy, really. I
mean,
we've
to all the races we've been to, and we only raced each other.
And like you said,
twice.
swapping points. So you would think at some point, either semifinals or something, you guys would have met.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. And of course, if this information is correct, I believe another interesting moment about that particular race was it was only the second time ever in Top Alcohol Dragster that was an all-female final.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Previous was 2004. Ashley Force and Shelley Howard.
Huh.
So, yeah, pretty cool. And that pair, between those two in 2004, was only the second all-female final in a sportsman division at the time. So that's pretty cool. But little sidebar, little side stat for you. But pretty cool race for sure to have the ladies in there, and just funny how it goes. And I've heard that said from other drivers where my brain was not connected to my foot. It just did what it wanted to do.
Like, you can't explain it. Like, it just happens. And you sit there like, you're like, what the hell? Like, I didn't do that. But you did. So yeah, through that weekend when I won over Tony, I was like, oh yeah, now we're winning the championship. We're going for this. And then I lose the final. I'm like, God dang it, I really needed those points. Now I'm going to lose the championship. So that weekend, again, so many emotions.
Roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
Highs and lows are unbelievable in this sport. And to watch you guys battle back and forth all season long like you did, it's exactly what you just said. It's like, I'm winning this thing now. And then the very next round, Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
But you get that confidence, and sometimes you just need that confidence, to make yourself better.
It's amazing, and it's amazing, what Julie was saying, with them having their crew members and stuff like that, and getting used to them and working with the same people every time, and Randy's operation over there. I mean, you go up to the line and it's kind of she knows when she hits the pedal that it's going to be the car. You know what I mean? Just like Tony did. So it puts a lot more pressure on the driver of, when I hit it, it did this. No, it didn't. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, and you didn't hit it, so it's a high pressure sport, and I was excited to see her win. Tony, of course, is like a brother, and if he couldn't win, I'm glad she did, or vice versa. I mean, it was a win-win for us and our involvement with Julie and things like that, and it was really cool. So
Rico just touched on the data that they acquire out of these cars on every single run. We'll touch base on that when we come back.
I loved it. Why am I in an Indy now?
Yeah.
What?
The Skinny is brought to you by American Coach. American Coach, innovation is our life force. And Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04.
Welcome back to the Skinny. Once again, great to have Julie Nataas in the studio with us. By the way, I don't think I mentioned Michael Young at the top of the show. It wasn't by design.
It's a new season, but nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Wow, rude.
He did speak in the last segment, so apparently he's here.
Yeah. Well, I just thought, well, you might as well join the show.
Sorry, bud.
That's okay. That's okay.
And he is back doing his normal gig as well, traveling around with Indy cars. So congrats, man, on another year. What is it, 30 now?
It feels like 30. It's probably 20, though. I'm aging myself. Let's get back to Julie, shall we? And not
yeah, let's talk about Julie. She's a much better subject.
He started when he was age 10, so yeah.
Last segment, Rico brought up some of the data, how you guys, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide when they go back and they take a look at the data. But I am very curious because you mentioned something towards the top of the show where you said the car wasn't there and then you weren't there. When they make big changes to the car, it's going to affect your reaction times. I mean, it could help, it could hinder, giving whatever that change may be. How much of that data do you come back to the crew chief and say, hey, I'd like it if the car could do this better? Does that ever happen? Or do you just adapt to whatever car they give you?
I feel like Randy's usually adapting to all his drivers because we all have different driving styles, and then he goes from there. I've been there for a lot of years, so he just knows how I drive it, and then I come back and of course report things that happens in the car if something feels a little bit off or odd, but nothing like major or big that he goes in to change for me for the start of the car, at least.
Are there times where you feel the car pulling to the right, pulling to the left, something, when you say something odd, is that typically something you would come back with? What would be something you would come back to him with?
It could be something like that. And sometimes I'll be like, well, hey, that was probably me oversteering it. I could tell that I was oversteering it. That was me, not the car. You can probably see that. He's like, yep, you're right. So I'll just report on the things that I know that he's already going to tell me so that he knows that I'm not completely just, ignoring everything that's happening and just going through it. Or it could be hose dropping too. Car slowing down and I'm like, hey, I felt this at the 1,000-foot mark, and so I let it go because I didn't want to hurt anything. So there's small things that you hear and feel.
So rewinding a little bit, you went to college, Santa Barbara, is that correct?
Yes.
For?
Marketing, business, and entrepreneurship.
Right on. That's very cool. I get that. Santa Barbara, pretty rough place to
oh my
go to
gosh,
school.
so rough. I loved it. Why am I in an Indy now?
Yeah.
What?
It's not like you're working on the car here or anything like that. So I mean, it's
yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it, and I we had talked about that before, and what a beautiful, unbelievable place. But you know, it is kind of one of those things. If you want to be involved in motorsports, there's a lot of moving and shaking that goes on in the Indianapolis metro area, and not exactly the best weather all year round. But
what are you guys talking about? It's the end of April here, and it's 47 degrees outside.
Possible snow this
Wind
weekend.
blowing.
Yeah.
It's
About
crazy.
blew the house over. I mean, you know, what could go wrong?
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get a little deeper into the season in 2023. Take her to Dallas, Texas. It was a special weekend.
You're not allowed to flicker the bulb. In my world, I was just like, what? So I walked from my pit down to the starting line in my fire suit, like, what the heck, guys?
Welcome back to The Skinny. We're here in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have Julie Nataas inside of the studio with us as she was able to win her first career NHRA Top Alcohol Dragster Championship just 1 year ago, and of course starting her 6th season with Randy Meyer Racing. Let's go to Dallas, Texas as the championship was winding down because she put together an incredible year. And if we go back a year before in 2022, she did not qualify for the race. So what was the psyche going in 2023? You got to be thinking, man, last year, this event was not good for me. I've got to turn things around here and stay focused on this championship.
Well, this year I knew we at least had a race car that was going with us because we didn't have a race car the year before. And on my last qualifying pass, I was flickering the bulb, which apparently you can do in Dallas because it won't get your time. So I got timed out. So I was like, I'm not going to flicker the bulb in Dallas anymore. And I didn't. And I didn't know that I didn't know that the championship could be happening. Yeah. It could be happening in Dallas. We thought maybe in Vegas, like the weekend after, but not in Dallas.
I'm really surprised that somebody, not necessarily you, because a lot of times drivers will just focus on, I just need to win the next round. The points will take care of themselves.
Yep.
Not get your head in that game. But I'm really surprised somebody wasn't doing the math.
I am too. And I think NHRA, like, all of a sudden, like, started counting points or realizing what was happening, like, after I won the first round. And I think Tony lost that first round, maybe. I am not sure if it was first or second. And then Sean Cowie, which could now also win the championship, he was also still in. And NHRA all of a sudden was like, wait, this could be happening right now. Because Sean Cowie and Julie are facing each other here. And was it the semifinal, I think?
I think you're right.
I think so.
And we should say that's 3 events from the end of the year, right? I mean, that's probably why it caught everybody by surprise.
It kind of did. So I was sitting up there in the semifinals against Sean Cowie, and there was a car wreck on the track that was happening. So there was some downtime, and I heard the announcer. He was like, oh, this could be happening coming up here soon. As soon as we got this car cleared off the track, it's happening. We got championship winning time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't listen. I cannot hear this at all. I did not hear that. Are we kidding with me? And then I sit in my car. I'm like, Tony lost. Cowie's behind me in point. So if I beat Cowie now, I guess that technically means that I win the championship. And I just start shaking. I've never had started shaking, nervously shaking like that before in my car. So I was like, well, it's fine. I didn't hear that. I didn't think that. It's all fine. And went up there and I won the race on a hole shot. Again, the pressure, some way, somehow just works on me. And I still didn't believe that I won that round, or wasn't really even sure if I won the championship when I saw the win light, until I was off the racetrack and I see Amanda Busick standing there on stage, and they have the trophy and everything. And I was like, does this really just happen? I didn't have time to prepare for my championship winning run.
I was
I was like, what?
I was amazed that they had it there. You know, somebody had to be on it, right? Somebody had to be thinking about it, because it's exactly what you guys are saying. You know, 3 races, or the third race to the end, and it gets locked up and locked down right there. So I mean,
Production team was probably really paying attention, would be my guess. Production meetings, you constantly talk about that stuff. So,
True.
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit that they were on it
They were.
and ready to go. That's pretty cool.
It is. That was one of my coolest weekends ever.
Yeah.
And-
So, and then you also locked up the regional championship that same weekend?
No. I won the race, and then I won the Jags All-Star for the
Third
third year in
consecutive
a
year.
row. Yeah. And then that was also, like, whenever I won the final round, that was Randy Meyer Racing's 100 NHRA wins.
That was my next thing
Yeah.
to you. Yes. So, but they said you won 3 titles that weekend. Is that what it was? 3 wins. It was a championship. It was the event win, obviously his 100th, and the All-Star, the Jags All-Star shootout.
Yeah.
What a weekend.
So wild. Yeah.
From the previous year when you didn't qualify.
I can't believe that
That's
either.
turning it around.
You know what I did the year before? I was so mad because because the double, like, I was flickering the bulb and you're not allowed to flicker the bulb. In my world, I was just like, what? So I walked from my pit down to the starting line in my fire suit, like, what the heck, guys? Like, what is happening? I was like, where's the starter? Where's the starter? And Randy was like, no, just no. I was like, but what? He's like, no, you probably wouldn't have qualified.
So you
anyway.
brought that up twice now. So do you feel like you can flicker the bulb somewhere else?
You can,
just not at Dallas?
It's the timing system in Dallas. And I think
Okay.
there's one other racetrack where it doesn't lock you in. Like, it just keeps, like, flickering. But it looks like it locks up or it locks you in, but it doesn't. So then you go red because you get timed out and you won't get a time for the run.
Wow.
Yeah. I just wanted to flicker it so that I would have a good ET. You know, we struggled
Sure.
all weekend. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my best here.
So, and explain to the fans at home, when you're flickering the bulb, you're turning the top one out? Or are you trying to get closer? Or are you barely turning the second one on?
Barely turning the second one on.
Okay.
So that you get a better ET.
So you want to run at it.
Yeah. Yep.
Playing the starting line games. Every little piece you get, right? I mean, that's what it takes to
Exactly.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff, man, for sure. So she went on to win the championship, as you can document there. We have one more segment here. We're going to talk to her about moving forward in 2024. Find out how things are going. Chasing that championship again. Last year in an alcohol car. You going fuel racing soon?
Oh, I mean, I've said this is my last year. I don't have a job for next year yet, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Want to get the skinny on other guests in different types of motorsports? Check out our YouTube page and get the skinny. The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Welcome back to the Skinny. That is a beautiful trophy sitting right in the middle of the set here, and that is earned by Julie Nataas and, of course, the Randy Meyer Racing Team. Congratulations to her. 31 career wins now. That is a real number. You are getting it done, and we are starting 2024. I think you're second in the points already.
I haven't looked.
I think you're second in the points. I could be incorrect on that, but if I'm not mistaken, you were not happy with how things started.
No, we haven't done well this year so far. So the fact that I'm second in points might just be because we've been to more races than other drivers, and it's just early in the season. So, yeah, we got to step it up here if we're going to go win another championship.
So for the fans, help them out, because you chase both a divisional championship and a national championship. What does that season look like individually for the two? Explain that.
So we go to 10 national events, but we only count 7 of them towards the national championship. And then we go to 5 regional and only count 3 of the regionals towards the national. But then for the regional championship, we go to 7 regionals and we count 5 of them for the regional championship.
So a 17-race season. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
And are some of the regionals can also count as a national, towards the national?
Yeah, the 3 out of your first 5 races, like the 3 best ones out of the first 5.
Gotcha.
Counts towards the national.
And you would explain that. I guess, I'm sorry, let me ask the question again, what I was actually thinking in my head. Is there a time when you're at a national event, and let's say you get a win at a national event, that it counts also towards a regional event?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So there's never a dual.
Only for the national championship, yeah.
Gotcha.
You can count the regional, but not the national toward the regional, yeah.
So any changes from last year to this year? Same car, new tubing? Where?
We got same car, or I'm in the same car. Randy has made some updates on it and some new parts that we're currently trying out. So we're hoping it's going to be for the better. As of right now, we're clearly struggling a little bit. We barely qualified in Pomona. That was also some tricky track conditions. So I'm looking forward to Charlotte, where we hopefully can do a little bit better.
Yeah, Pomona was tough for everybody.
It was.
And I wish they would work a little bit different on the track, and you know, the thing that's probably the most bothersome is, you know, you have fans come out on a Thursday or a Friday, and definitely on a Friday when the pros are, you know, the nitro cars, you know, Top Fuel and so on and so forth is running, and they don't get a good show.
Right.
And so it definitely bothers me, because I'm scared that it causes problems with the sport. Because if you get somebody to come out and they ask their friend, "Hey man, I heard you went to the drag races. What'd you think?" And they said, "Oh, we got to see 2 cars go down the track."
Yeah.
Right.
You know, or somebody comes and says, "Dude, we saw 10 different cars go over 300 mile an hour." I mean, it's all to do with you know, there's a lot of things to do with, but
they could have been better prepared with the track prep and actually prepped the track for something for Friday and not just waited until Saturday.
If you got rubber on the track that's several months old, that's been rained on, got water under it, it's dried out. I mean, that's where the cars were striking the tires every time. And you know, it doesn't show the best car wins or the best car runs the best. Now, they stepped their game up, you know, when it got down to it. But man, I think we lost some valuable fans in a sport that we're fighting to get more fans too. And I just wish they would take note to it. And it's no dig on the safety safari or anybody, but whoever's making that decision knows damn well that was the wrong decision when they made it, that they should have scraped it to the end and just made it the best. So, but I commend everybody that's out there running, and because it is a battle, you know, all the way around. So on a lighter note, let's talk about some of your sponsors.
Well, we got OTG. That's been a part of my journey ever since I started out, which is a flooring company out of Norway. And we just partnered up with Airmine, which is also another Norwegian company.
What do they do?
It's like a weather app, but for pollen.
Really?
Yes. So you can, like, we're in, close to Speedway right now. So I could put up my phone and be like, oh, what's the pollen like in Speedway today or tomorrow? So, like, you can go in, like, if you're really allergic, you can go in and actually see the dosage that they would recommend for your allergies, like for your medicines.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a new up-and-coming technology company in Norway. And then we have Maxim Oils that is also on board with Randy Meyer Racing this year, and Elliott Custom Trailers. I got a brand new golf cart from them this year, which I'm really excited about.
Good old Cindy.
Yes, love her.
Yeah, she said to tell you hello as well. And yeah, Elliott's Custom Trailers and Carts, top notch. So
yeah, wonderful people. Yeah, in the industry for a long time for sure. Yeah, good stuff. And you're off and running in 2024. Chasing that championship again. Last year in an alcohol car, you going fuel racing soon?
Oh, I mean, I've said this is my last year. I don't have a job for next year yet, so I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm leaving Randy Meyer Racing, so we'll see. I think, or hopefully, when this door closes, I hope another one opens up, and it's going to be great. So we'll see.
Congratulations on the championship. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for all your help here going forward as well on social media. So the Skinny on the 2023 Top Alcohol Dragster Champion for the NHRA, Miss Julie Nataas. Hope you enjoyed the show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.